Are you ready for a story? I've got a great story for you. It involves 12 young men, actually boys, 8, 9-year-old boys. They are on a travel baseball team that I coach here in central New Jersey. Look at those smiling faces. This photo was taken after we were able to come out victorious in the playoffs against the undefeated team in our division. We had lost to them twice. It was a hard-fought battle and a wonderful victory for these boys. So much enthusiasm for this team and the way we go about coaching that we now have 30 players that are playing for us on 3 different teams. Team sports are just an amazing opportunity to help shape young men, help them learn about teamwork, help them grow in their discipline, perseverance, help them deal with adversity, winning and losing. Lots of great life lessons. Can be very positive, often depends upon the philosophy and the coaching. You know, I get attached to my players. They're not just players or numbers. They are wonderful young men with potential and a great future ahead of them. I get attached. I care about them. I see that potential. I also see the dangers that lie ahead. I know what is coming ahead for these young men in the next few years as they hit adolescence. Adolescence has always been a challenging time. There are just so many things changing, but it's even more difficult today. The challenges are greater. A lot of it has to do with our modern day environment, our world today, screens and technology, various things like that. The brain is a big part of it, and we don't focus on this that much. What's happening to our child's brain as they approach adolescence? Brain's changing too, especially the emotional centers of the brain are coming alive. They're maturing. So we're lots of strong emotions. We talk about hormones, but it's really the intensity of emotions. Now you add a lot of screen time and various other factors, things like diet and such, and what you have is the level of intensity. It's the level of intensity that increases. These things stimulate the amygdala, emotional center of the brain, stimulate it like we've never seen, and stress it. And so our kids have all kinds of strong, powerful emotions and responses to almost anything that happens in their life. You can see the list of things that I've mentioned over here. But let me tell you a couple stories. A couple of the young men on my team, they're dealing with the typical emotions of, starting to feel angry, trying to get along with each other, hurting each other. But these emotions are really powerful now. They're getting angry so quickly, so easily, and want to strike back. Very common. Others have a different reaction. It leads more to fear and anxiety. One young man was hurt, rejected on a former team, and that has left a scar for him, and it's really hindered his confidence. And he's now spent a lot more worried in certain contexts about whether he has what it takes, whether he's going to be able to meet expectations, let somebody down. And so a lot of anxiety, serious anxiety, to the point of not being able to function even very well in school and just crying, so afraid. It just hurts me to see these young men that I love dealing with this kind of difficulty. What can we do? What can we do? Just think about that for a minute. What can we do? Our go-to is often medication. really powerfully and bad side effects with medication. Sometimes it's necessary. The imbalances are such. Therapy, counseling often has a good impact as well. It takes a lot of time and often gets our kids thinking about things they don't want to be thinking about. Those that hurt, the anxiety. They don't want to be focused on that. Well, there's another way, brought to us by positive psychology. Let this quote: "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." This is just so true. The mind is everything. Now remember, the emotional centers are going crazy in a preteen. And the frontal lobe, which is the part of the brain that brings balance and regulates all those strong emotions, brings logic, irrational thinking, it is not mature. It's not mature. It doesn't mature till the age of 25, 30. That's why a lot of our young people struggle even until in their mid-20s to 30s, because the brain is not really capable of balancing out all that, and their brains are what we call dysregulated. Typical adolescent brain is dysregulated through no fault of their own. It falls on us to help them, support them, and give them tools to deal with those strong emotions. Emotional control. And it's the brain. We need to help them develop the frontal lobe of the brain and help them then learn techniques and various ways to control all that intensity. We do it by helping them think about positive things. What you think, you become. You're continuing on the story of the baseball story. So many baseball coaches use a negative reinforcement, yelling and screaming when mistakes are made. And what happens is their players become nervous in game situations. They don't want to make mistakes. They're thinking about not making mistakes. When you think about not making mistakes, what happens? You make mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes. You're nervous. You're tense. If you're thinking about using your talents and your strengths and doing what your coaches instructed you to do, making the plays, knowing where the ball goes, hitting a ball hard, you're going to be more successful. It's been proven. So we want to give you tools to help your children through this challenging time as their brain is fully developing, nurturing that frontal lobe. We do it with 3 pathways: strengths, connection, and character. We help them focus on those things, not on their weaknesses and their vulnerabilities. We call this making the shift. Making the shift from parenting our children to preparing them for adolescence and then for adulthood. That's the shift that you need to make. To think more about partnering with your son or daughter to help prepare them for this tumultuous, difficult time with their emotions going crazy. We need to make the shift. You can make it today, and we'll get you on the 3 pathways, starting with strengths. All 30 of the kids on my team, their parents took an assessment of their strengths. It's called the Incredible Kids Assessment. It's phenomenal. And that assessment shows a ranking of strengths that we can then take those and help them develop them and help them understand how they fit in a team setting or why they do what they do. It's a phenomenal, actually a wonderful thing to learn. One young man, I think I told you about him. He struggled a bit with anxiety. And for him, knowing his strengths has made all the difference. Lack of confidence is what happened from some of this hurt in the past. And one of his strengths, we call it the guardian. He's also a team player. He's also a thinker. But I've worked with him and his parents to work on this guardian strength. And when he goes into a situation like school and he's starting to get anxious, fearful, encouraging him to employ his guardian strength, not focus on his anxiety or what is fearful for him, focusing on others and what he has to offer and give. This young man will give away his lunch money to a friend who wants something. He's so caring. It comes out of him. You can just see the care in this kid. What a great thing for him to understand that. That's a superpower that he has. Employ it. Parents, this is something that you can do for your kids. Prepare them for adolescence. So then when this tidal wave hits, they'll have some tools to be able to cope. They'll understand what's happening and you can work together. Normally something like this kind of support and training would cost $600, $750, $1,000 for a 6-week period. I so want this to put this in your hands so that you can prepare your young people. I want to see these kids that I'm coaching and many, many others have these tools, have this understanding, and so this does not do severe damage to them, which it is doing to so many kids today. You can have it. You're going to get video training access. You're going to have access to a place to journal, interact with me, set your own goals, have your child set their goals, interactive online advice, support, and encouragement and guidance. It's awesome. $29.95, just $29.95. I so want to put it in your hands because I know what it's going to do. I've seen it so many times. Please consider this. It's a small investment in helping prepare your young people for a difficult time.